Good morning. The Copperbelt University School of Graduate Studies, Department of Biological Sciences. Assessment of the physicochemical parameters of groundwater in selected areas which are townships or rural areas of Kasama district. Name Mofat Mutebere, student number 2116661. Program Master of Science in Biology. Supervisor Professor Subahir. Date 24th November 2022. Introduction. The major source of water for drinking, agricultural activities, as well as the industrial desires is the groundwater. Aradipo et al. 2011. The availability of water determines the site and activities of humans in an area. Hence, the growing population places huge demand upon natural freshwater resources. The quality of groundwater is likely to be affected by the physicochemical contaminants which come from a variety of sources, such as the application of agricultural chemicals on the land, organic wastes, permeate of irrigation water, septic tanks, pit latrines, and open ponds. Rajappa et al. 2011. Groundwater occurs in weathered portion along the joints, and water is rendered non-potable because of the presence of heavy metal in excess. The situation gets worsened during the summer season due to the water scarcity and the rainwater discharge. Contamination of water resources available for household and drinking purposes with heavy elements, metal ions, and harmful microorganisms, one of the serious major health problems. Theodore 2004. Polluted water is the major causes for the spread of epidemics, chronic diseases of man. It causes typhoid, jaundice, dysentery, diarrhea, tuberculosis, and hepatitis. In Zambia, almost 99.9% of the rural population depends on untreated water, groundwater, for potable water supplies. Kasama district lies between latitude -10 degrees south and longitude 31 degrees east. Total geographical area of the district is 10,519 square kilometers. The quality of groundwater is highly related with the local environmental and geological conditions. Geologically, the area comprises quartzite and shale. Urugi, 1982. The district has moderate temperature ranging from 15 and 35 degrees centigrade. It is in the high rainfall zone of Zambia with an average annual rainfall of 1,200 millimeters. The rainy season is between November and April. The district has 5 big rivers: Chambeshi, Lukulu, Lukupa, Lubansenshi, and Wombe, which host the Chishimba Falls and the hydro power station. Drisdo, 1960. The district has several perennial streams that can be harnessed for irrigation purposes. Agriculture is the main source of economy of the district with a farmer population of 91,525. Groundwaters are used for irrigation. Kasama. That's a map for Kasama. The dotted red, the red dots shows the points where we're going to get the samples from, the water samples from. Problem statement. Groundwater remains one of the major sources of water for human and animal consumption, as well as other human activities such as agriculture and industries. Therefore, there is need to assess and compare the groundwater parameters in rural as well as urban settlements of Kasama district. Objective, the general objectives. The first one is to assess the presence of physicochemical parameters in groundwater in urban and rural settlements. The second one is to find out the site with the highest physicochemical parameters. The third one is to determine the cause of physicochemical contaminants in groundwater. The fourth one is to assess the levels of physicochemical parameters in groundwater in comparison with the ZAB standards. Specific objectives. To identify the major physicochemical parameters in groundwater. To state which parameters are of high content. To state the major causes of physicochemical parameters in groundwater, to compare which settlement between urban and rural has the highest physicochemical parameters in groundwater. Research questions. What are the levels of physicochemical parameters of groundwater? What is the effect of a population on the levels of physicochemical parameters of groundwater? Which settlement has the highest physicochemical parameters in groundwater, which is rural and urban? How are the levels of physicochemical parameters of groundwater compared with ZAB standards? Hypothesis. 1. There is a significant variation in the mean levels of physicochemical parameters of groundwater in densely and sparsely populated areas. The mean levels of physicochemical parameters of groundwater in densely and sparsely populated areas are significantly different from the ZAB standards. Literature review. According to Mamu et al. 2011, the major sources of water for rural, urban, industrial, and irrigation is the groundwater. It is said to be the purest form of water available in nature and comprises of about 97% of the world's readily available water. Kuma et al. 2015. It mostly comes when rainwater sinks into the soil to the surface of the aquifers, hence mostly known to be pure than surface water. Naturally, groundwater is clear, tasteless, and odorless unless it is contaminated. It is considered to be safe, but some is susceptible to physicochemical contamination due to low depth. Gichuki and Gichumbi 2012. Once groundwater contains high amount of various ions and salts, using it could be harmful to the health of the people using it. Kuma et al. 2015. Main ways in which groundwater can be contaminated is through the use of fertilizers in agriculture and effluent from sewerage systems seeping into the aquifers. Gichuki and Gichumbi 2012. Ombaka et al. 2013 stipulates that the passage of water into ground dissolves minerals in rocks and collects the suspended particulate of matter, mostly of the 10 organic sources, which thereafter contributes to the contamination of the groundwater. Methodology or research design. Study area or site. Field survey design will be used and the groundwater from the urban and rural settlements will be sampled. The picture showing people from the urban drawing water from the borehole or the hand pump. The other picture is showing more like a deserted hand pump, but it is used by people in rural areas to draw water. Experimental techniques. Laboratory tests to analyze the level of each parameter from 12 boreholes. Plastic samples will be used to collect samples. In situ measurements of temperature, electrical conductivity, total dissolved solids, dissolved oxygen, pH and turbidity will be taken using mercury thermometer, conductivity, stroke total dissolved solids meter, dissolved oxygen meter, pH meter and turbidity meter. Data correction. The water samples will be stored at a temperature of below 100 degrees Celsius in the cool box containing ice cubes for transportation to the laboratory. Data analysis. The analysis of the chemical parameters, fluoride, nitrates, phosphate, sodium, potassium, chloride, total hardness, magnesium, calcium ions, and total alkalinity will be done. The results will be compared to the Zambia Bureau of Standards in order to assess the suitability of the groundwater for domestic use. That's the work plan, which will start from November to January 2023. And the first activity will be visiting the Water Resource Management or WAMA offices, and the 8th activity will be data compilation, which will be by January 2023. The budget, I have a total budget of about 6,703 kwacha. The references. That's the end. Thank you very much. Thank you.